for the line of work that we do, technology, really there's the opportunity to work for like a much larger company or to work for a smaller company. And I'd say sort of as far as the differences between those two organizations, a larger company, you're probably going to have a more focused and deep role. So you're going to be focused on a smaller thing, but go much deeper into that thing. Whereas if you're working in a smaller company, you're probably going to be wearing different hats, doing different things, being focused on a lot of things and more of a generalist. For large companies, I think oftentimes they are split into a ton of different departments. They've got customer success departments where they're helping people that are using their products. They've got sales departments where they're trying to sell and make money off their product, whether it's to advertisers or whoever else. And then they've got engineering and product and design. So, you know, they've got all these different departments and they've got thousands of employees and tens of thousands of employees oftentimes. So, you know, when you're coming into an organization like that, you know, they want to know that you have been a successful sort of cog or has experience with one particular product area, one particular department.
I would agree with that because, you know, like, you know, to even further subdivide it within, you know, a technical team at a Meta or, you know, even within the Instagram kind of subgroup, you would have a team that just works on the search feature, and you would have a team that just works on the explore page and then components within that page. And so the amount of knowledge and sort of granular optimization and skills that you would learn by just focusing on one thing is really great for, you know, down the road for you to sort of have a depth of knowledge of how to really optimize something, and then you can apply that to other things.
Whereas I think for smaller companies, there's oftentimes a lot more, maybe there's less products and less scale in terms of the amount of users that it's touching, but at the same time, like, you're expected to come in and see how all these departments play nicely together, right? So if you're in a startup with 30 to 40 people, I think that you end up wearing a lot of different hats and getting a lot of different experiences that give you a more sort of robust and well-rounded view of a, I guess, business, as opposed to coming in and being a mercenary in one kind of particular area.
And that builds kind of a larger fundamental view of a business and how a business runs and how all these different departments can work together. And, you know, I think we both believe that that's something that even the most granular engineers and product developers, you know, that's really good for their learning, is to be part of a smaller group at least once in their career, to sort of learn how all the big pieces fit together. But there's good in both of them, certainly.
So when it comes to sort of like credentialing, I think that, you know, keeping in mind what your end goal is, whether you want to be sort of more that generalist and learning a lot of different things, or whether you want to be sort of like laser focused on one thing and going, you know, deeper into that one thing, I think that's the way that I would sort of think about the different sort of paths that you can take, I guess.
In the actual software engineer world, we're moving away from requiring formal bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, things like that. I mean, even associate's degrees, to just, you know, if you have, you know, a high school diploma and then you're self-taught and you can prove that you're a really great engineer with products you've done in the past, there's a job for you. And that's, you know, different from a lot of other, you know, even within the same product organization, there's a lot of other kind of roles that are still sort of requiring more, you know, formal certificates, formal education, and sort of proof on paper, so to speak, of that.
I think that there are like some certifications and educational programs that can teach you how to learn and do some of those things, and those are really beneficial because you can apply them whether or not, you know, you're going to actually work at Apple. They may have a developer sort of certification that gives you a base level of understanding about how to do something that you could apply otherwise. But, you know, if you're trying to focus on specifically a career path and getting a job, that's probably when these certifications are a little bit more directly viable. I mean, I strongly encourage people to just build products, like learn from the experiences, and that's going to be so invaluable to you if you are passionate about that particular space.
I would say to students, focus on what you're really interested in and try to build something for yourself. Really try to get in there and like get your hands dirty on building something. And then once you're actually sort of thinking about an actual formal step into a career, that's when you can get the available certifications. But my bet would be you would find that job you were looking for and they would hire you before you really even needed those. if you're out there, showing your work off and making a name for yourself.
We hired a guy that was a vegetable farmer before and self-taught himself through some of these resources and sort of absorbed all these different products out there and took that as inspiration to build on his own. And then he presented those projects to us and said, hey, I'd love to work with you, I'm hungry, here's my sort of non-traditional experience, but clearly I've been able to pick up and learn these things on my own.